But, you also have to foster a good culture. We've been working on our culture for as long as I can remember, literally as long as I can remember. And it's something that my dad keeps near and dear to his heart. And, we want to make sure that we have this very encouraging, collaborative workforce that is not only excited to get up and go to work every day, but, we're competitive. We don't like to lose.
Welcome to Seriously Catherine, a podcast about taking your business seriously, but not yourself. Okay, I'm so amped up right now about this. So there's this thing that's been going around on social media, and the question is very important. And I think that it's kind of gotten off the rails because people are commenting about different things and changing the question. You can't change the question, okay? The question is, would you rather have your daughter in the woods with a random unknown man or a random bear? And people are going nuts over this. A lot of people are choosing the bear. And I kind of get it. At first you're oh, dude, right? You want to pick the guy who's going to be able to help save your daughter in this time of need. But a lot of people are go with the bear because let me just read some of the reasons why people are choosing the bear. For example, no one would question whether or not the bear actually attacked the girl. It's true. It's so true. This is valid. This is a valid point. Another one was a bear wouldn't accuse my daughter of leading them on by being nice to them. My daughter would not be forced to carry the bear's babies to term in 27 states. It's true. Bears do not traffic women. I mean, this isn't funny. This is kind of absurd that these are the things. These are the things that we have to think about for our daughters if they're caught in the woods with a strange man or a bear. Okay, another one. Yes, no one would question if a bear attack actually happened. This one's kind of sad. The bear sees me as a human being. I mean, I don't know if I agree with that. The bear sees a threat. The bear sees another living thing that it may eat. Or the other thing that could happen is the bear could protect the child, the daughter. Because the original question was, what would you rather for your daughter? So some of the comments, opposing comments, are interesting. I would prefer a random man than a bear. All the random men I've ever spoken to, not one yet has tried to kill me. I mean, maybe for this one person. Oh, this is the one that was so interesting. So a guy, this is I went and said a deep hole in this thread. And one of the guys said, there was a guy that said something they don't agree with the question, but it depends on circumstance. I would rather be lost in a grocery store with a strange man. Aren't you in grocery stores by yourself with strange men? And you're never concerned or worried, right? But yeah, right. We're not concerned or worried because we're in a grocery store, man. We're not in the middle of the woods. We're not, that. I think that's the piece of it that people are getting hung up on. If you're going to pose an answer to this question, you just have to remember that you can't make up hypotheticals outside of the question. The question is, would you rather your daughter be in the woods with a strange unknown man or a bear? It's not about okay, well, what if you were in a grocery store? Sure, if I was in a grocery store, I'd prefer the guy, I guess, the man, because there are people around. There's accountability. That dude's not going to tackle me in the middle of a grocery store, or my daughter. Because I think a lot of times people are thinking again, well, what if I was in the woods? What if I was in the, woods with a bear? But it's not about that. It's about your daughter. You have to think about what you would want for your daughter. My stance is I think the bear. I think the bear. So sad. Humanity. We have work to do. Okay, so that's my bit on the hot take. I think people are going to come for me for that. I am so excited to have you here, Carmine.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
And you brought me good things.
For both of us.
Yes, awesome. What do you have here? So
we have Surfside. Surfside is a ready-to-drink cocktail made with vodka. It's actually distilled from stateside vodka. And I think you're going to start seeing a lot of these all over the capital region and across the country very soon. The one over here is a lemonade, and the one that you're having, from being from the South,
yes,
it's got a little iced tea and lemonade mix for you.
So this is lemonade. All right, so we're going to crack these open?
Absolutely.
Do you have a cocktail or a beer with every conversation?
If I can, yes.
It's like built in. I mean, how does that work? Like you can't really, maybe this is like a difficult question, but like, or bring topic. Can you be sober working for a beer company?
You should be sober at least when you arrive in the morning, without a doubt.
Oh, this is good.
Right?
This does remind me of Firefly, which I was just talking to you about. But let's not go there. It's dangerously delicious. This is very, very good. So tell me, what is Stateside Vodka? Is that just a type of vodka company?
Yeah, it's a vodka. I believe it's out of Philadelphia.
Oh my God,
Philadelphia. I got that right.
Good job.
Yep.
You probably have like these sales trainings with your team, right? You sit in on all those, or you just
I do, but sometimes there's other meetings that I have to attend to, and I can't get all the information on the new products. But obviously, when there's a really good one that we're excited about, such as Surfside, I'm all about it.
So exciting.
This is really good.
This is very, very good. There's another drink or product that I've been seeing a lot on social media and stuff. It's called Mom Water. Like a lot of these drinks, these alcohol drinks, they're seltzered or they're carbonated. So this is not carbonated. And I haven't had one yet, but I'm dying to. But they're not, no one's distributing it in New York State yet. Like they don't, like I don't know how that works, but they have to like connect with you, I guess, and then get your permission to like sign them on.
Right. We'd actually, we'd end up forming an agreement. We'd have a contract, and then we'd get the brands assigned for certain territories. Territories are usually counties, if you will. So DeCrescente, we distribute to 11 counties surrounding, Albany and the capital region.
Okay, so you're not in the city?
No.
So 11 counties, mainly capital region. Do you have any desires to like, or is that allowed to go out of state and expand? Like, how do you grow? Do you take over more counties?
Well, one of the ways, obviously, you can grow is just, organic growth. So if there's a new beverage that comes out like Surfside and we happen to, be aware of it and we're trying to get it. So, obviously that's going to be added sales to us because if that's a product that people want, it's going to sell. You can grow by acquiring people as well, other companies. But it's a little difficult because if you were like, well, what if you want to take over New York City? Then I would have to purchase the brand rights that they already have in New York City. So, the number one beer down there is Modelo, and that's an import. So that's going to be an expensive case to buy, if you know what I'm saying. So it's going to be very costly if I wanted to go to an area where there's obviously that brand is already there.
Yeah.
But
do you sell Modelo?
Correct. Number one beer in America.
Some recent events had a lot to do with that.
When that might have happened, there were some brands that, people may have switched. There was definitely some growth with Coors Light. There was some growth with Miller Lite, Pabst, Yuengling, Modelo.
Yeah.
But Modelo, I know you think it might have been because of that thing. Modelo was on a trajectory.
They were building.
Modelo was going to do it with or without, any help.
I actually love moments of crisis and uncertainty because you get to really see leadership demonstrated.
Yes.
Obviously, the most recent catastrophe that impact us was COVID. We had an opportunity to put our stake in the ground, and I think as a region, the capital region really nailed it. We capitalized on that.
I think we did as well, and with New York City being kind of the epicenter, if you will, we had to be ready for it, right? But when you think about COVID, I love that everybody calls it COVID. If you remember how it started,
it was the coronavirus.
It was the coronavirus.
Do you sell Corona?
I sell Corona.
Oh, that's not good.
I'll never forget. I was at a conference for Corona, and the leader was up on stage, and he was telling us basically that this guy was trying to build a story, and long story short, they were all like, this coronavirus isn't going to catch on, and lo and behold, look what ended up happening, many years later. But it was nice that they transitioned the term from coronavirus to COVID-19.
Yeah, that certainly helped you, I guess. But people used to like yell at you if you called it the coronavirus. Like that's actually like wasn't the right thing to call it. There was a switch.
Yes.
Like I think collectively we all decided like can't call it Corona anymore. That was like not PC.
Right.
The whole purpose of this podcast is to spotlight individuals who are kicking ass in business, but don't take themselves too seriously, which we see with you and DeCrescente. You guys get very creative on social media. You are a contender in the Shaken and Stirred event.
Hold on. What did you say?
Contender.
Contender?
Yeah.
I think there's better words for us.
What is it?
A former champion.
Former champion. So you won last year.
No, I didn't win last year. I won in a year before, but we're coming for it this year.
So you're coming back to take home the crown. Who did you lose it to last year?
We lost to Bonaccio.
Okay. But we're also coming and participating.
I missed you last night there at the little walkthrough, but
I don't need training.
oh, I know, but it's also a time to give some fun. So there was somebody there from Bonaccio, and there was a little rebel rousing, if you will, and they said something. I was like, just act like you've been there before, guys. You won last year. I know how to act, but
Yeah.
it's obviously it's for the arts. It's for the kids, deep down, and it's the biggest fundraiser for UPH. I love UPH. I know you do too.
Yeah.
But if you don't come out on top, I know you gave it your all.
It's not about winning, Carmine, but it is about, in my opinion, I posted about this recently. Like I'm a big LSU. I'm from New Orleans. I'm a big LSU fan. LSU women's basketball was here in the Capital Region. I was very proud, and we lost.
But you lost with dignity, and you won last year.
Right.
So I mean.
Yeah, no, and
take the good with the bad.
I think this is also sort of like the value of not taking yourself so seriously. Like you can't be a sore loser.
Oh, I'm not a sore loser at all. But I mean, I think this is one of the most fun fundraisers because of the competitiveness between the teams.
Yeah.
It's not only like, who obviously we're raising money at the end of the day, but it's also who's getting creative with their video that they're posting.
Yes.
Who's going to do the crazy photos? What's everybody's entrance going to be? There's going to be no dancing on the bar this year, I hear, but we'll have to see.
I know, but like, are you the type of person that asks permission to dance on a bar, or do you just get up there?
I beg for forgiveness.
Yes, that's me too. This is why we get along so well. So what I don't understand about the event is like we work in shifts. Maybe I would have learned this if I went to the training, but I have full faith in Marcella, my fearless leader, to tell me what to do and where to show up and how to. And what I really want to do is be the shot girl.
I think you're going to be the shot girl.
Yeah, I'm going to be the shot girl. So have you ever been to like Carlos and Charlie's or whatever in Cozumel, and the shot girls just come up to you? They don't ask permission. They just pour shots down your mouth. And then they say, "Give me the money." So that's going to be my strategy.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
They doubled the price of the shooters this year, too.
They can't tell me no.
No change, no nothing.
So is there like a 30-minute window, an hour window? And how long have you been doing this event?
I started pre-COVID. I think this is my 4th or 5th competition. And the first time I was in a team with Finger Paint and a couple other professionals, and DeCrescente's had its own teams.
Wait, professionals?
Yeah, I would say they tried to kind of, it was a mix of people from Finger Paint, a couple of events,
Yeah. But I think I'm trying to get you to go to this place of like, you are a legacy leader, business in this community, professional, but we're gonna see like some interesting, like we're gonna have an interesting experience. At the Shake It and Start event is very unconventional.
Have you ever been?
I have never been.
Oh my gosh. It is
it's a raging Saratoga fiasco, from what I gather.
I like those words. I mean, it is it's electric. You could feel the energy. People are passionate about winning, and it's not like people are looking at this as like, hey, I have to go to this, fancy gala event where I gotta, it's just people being themselves. It's everybody having fun, and obviously, don't take yourself seriously.
Yes, that's what I love so much about it. It's like people who, yes, by day they're like these like badass business people who are just like you admire and you aspire to be like, but on this night, they are one of the people just raising money for a good cause.
And, I'll give you another example of not taking yourself seriously. So Bonaccio was obviously winning last year. They were all excited. They knew they were going to win. And so somebody started dancing up on the bar, and they were like, Carmine, get up there and do it. And I'm like, no, I don't look like that. First of all, I don't look like that. I'm not ripped. I don't have a six-pack. And so I get up there, and this is also why you can't dance on the bar this year.
Did you fall down?
No, I got up there, and one of the bartenders comes over to me, and, the Mazzone pre-bill, and he's like, get down right now. And I'm like, whoa, dude. Like, look right over there. He's not, how come you're not yelling at him? And he lifts up this tablecloth that was basically, picture like just a plastic bench resting on top of the bar. And it was covered with a tablecloth. So nobody knew that. We all thought it was built into the bar. So if I just kind of moved the wrong way, I was going down.
Yeah.
I was going down. So,
but you still took the crown home.
Not last year, unfortunately.
Wait, is there a crown?
There is not a crown, but you get the shaken and stirred shaker.
Oh, it's like a chalice?
Yeah, well, I think Teddy's upped the ante a little bit.
If you win, do you drink out of the chalice?
I would, 100%.
I am excited.
I plan to.
Okay, game on. So when we're talking about business,
Yep.
like what in your mind makes you feel like a serious business person?
The company's fairly big, in my opinion. I mean, a lot of people would say that that's not, but I mean, there's over 400 people that are depending on me and getting a paycheck every week. I want to make sure that not just those 400 people are feeling comfortable with everything they got going on, but they, their families feel comfortable and their spouses at home realize, they work for a good company. Why I feel like a business, I mean, I don't necessarily feel, that way.
Wait, do you have imposter syndrome?
No, I mean, I just, I've always been in business. I feel like, from a young age, my grandfather and my father have just kind of, taught me those life lessons, people's your number one asset by far. And I mean, you have great people working for you, then you should be able to, turn your back once in a while and realize, hey, people are going to do the right thing. I mean, that's what we want people to do at our company, do the right thing when nobody's looking. But, you also have to foster a good culture. We've been working on our culture for as long as I can remember, literally as long as I can remember. And it's something that my dad keeps near and dear to his heart. And, we want to make sure that we have this very encouraging, collaborative workforce that is not only excited to get up and go to work every day, but, we're competitive. We don't like to lose.
Yeah.
We got a whole bunch of, different competitors. We compete in all different segments, from non-alc to wine and spirits to snacks to beer. So.
I didn't know you did snacks.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I didn't know this. What kind of snacks?
So we started off with Saratoga chips. That's how we got into the business.
And so you still
distribute
that?
Yeah, I distribute Saratoga chips, and we've gotten to some unique pretzels and some other things. But the biggest one that is probably, it's our anchor now is Wise. So we are the distributor in all of our 11 counties for Wise snacks. So that's been really exciting for us. And then another one, people may have tried it, is Cabot. So if you've been to Stewart's.
Cheese?
Yes. But Cabot is actually making some cheese products. So you can.
Like the little bitty, mini Cabots?
So if you go to Stewart's, you can get some Cabot popcorn. And you can get pepper jack, or you can get maple cheddar.
Oh, fun.
Yes. So.
You're like the next Frito-Lay.
You said it, not me.
Wait a minute. Frito-Lay distributes their own stuff, right?
Right.
Wait, I just watched. Wait, what is this movie? Flamin' Hot?
I haven't seen it.
Have you not seen Flamin' Hot?
No, but I think I'm going to watch it, though, because it sounds like something.
Oh, we just watched it, and it was just so inspiring. We watched it with the kids.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's great. It just goes to show you that, you can get an idea from anywhere.
Well, it goes back to this sort of notion, and I think this is why I love Saratoga so much. And I'm from New Orleans, so Mardi Gras, Jazz Fest, Saratoga, the track, just you have the opportunity to engage and collaborate with leaders in the community, and they're all just one of the people. I feel like the region as a whole, our brand is a region of the people. And that's why I'm drawn to it so much. So I don't know. I think that there's a lot of opportunity in the region. I think there's a lot of I think some people come here and they're like, oh, there's nothing up there. My response to that is exactly, we get to create it. We get to innovate, and we get to create the things that are not here yet. Mm-hmm. You guys sponsor everything.
We're fortunate to be able to sponsor a lot of things.
That's the right answer. But how do you navigate that? Do you really you don't just say yes to everything. You can't say yes to everything.
No, we don't say yes to everything by any means. But I mean, there's things that, we care about, in our family that we think is very important. I mean, my grandmother passed of Alzheimer's. We've been actively engaged with Alzheimer's for, over the last 15 years.
The gala's coming up.
Yeah, the gala's
on May 18th.
Yeah, it's coming up in a few weeks.
This will be, are you going?
I'm actually not going. My brother will be there and my sister will be there, though.
So do you want to hear a fun story?
Yes.
Okay, so Alzheimer's Foundation, they're members of Palette.
Okay.
So we went to the event. This is the first time I went to the gala before. I don't know exactly this woman's name, but she was the speaker of the event, and she has Alzheimer's, but she was heavily a fixture in my life growing up because she was always on CBS Sunday Morning. My point is they do this auction, this live auction. I don't know, if you look up the definition of a pissing match, this is it. It was not your dad doing the pissing, but he had donated a box for the Red Sox-Yankees game. Mm-hmm. Okay, and there was this attorney, I think it was a criminal defense attorney from Albany, and Tony Ianello. They were just driving up the price. It was incredible. And it was blowing my mind, the amount of money they were just like, nah, this one. They were
It
just
was
like,
Tony and who else?
and this guy, it was a criminal defense attorney, like
Okay.
big wig in Albany.
Okay.
And I just like couldn't, it was like mind blowing to me how much money they were raising. And your dad pulled a solid.
And hold on, don't tell me, because I can guess how this ends.
Guess how this ends.
Oh, you know what? I happen to have two box seats tickets, and I can give one to you, and I can give one to you. Yes.
Yeah, but you both have to pay.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It was such a awesome move, and like this demonstration of like, hey guys, listen, you can both have this. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
You know, it was just so baller of him to do that, and he did it with like humility and just like a sense of
do you think he might have known that he had two going into the event? I'm just curious.
Well, if you have if you have one box, I think that they just had to decide that they were going to go to, or maybe no, it was for definitely the Red Sox Yankees game. So he did. So now I'm thinking about this. It's not because at first I was like, oh well, of course he has two boxes, you know, but like he didn't have to do that.
Right.
He just did it because he was like, listen,
It's for the foundation.
both of these guys need to win this.
Yeah. I mean,
They need it for their souls to win, to be the winners of this. So, yeah, and at the end they shook hands and hugged it out and stuff. But it was so much fun to see that displayed. And like the way that he was just so humble about it. Because he could have been like, you guys, chill out. So anyway, that event is May 18th. It's coming up, and it's always such a heartfelt event because there's always like a personal story and Alzheimer's. Always. So it was your grandmother who passed away from Alzheimer's?
Yes. My grandmother was like the backbone of the company. You know, there's a lot of times the company didn't have great days, and my grandmother would be looking at the bank account because she was in charge of the finances. And I'm talking like when we had 10 people, you know, maybe not even. And my grandfather might go do something, and she'd be looking in the checkbook, and she'd be like, Carm, what do you do? Like, we don't worry about it, Mary. We'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah. I've heard all these stories, you know, growing up my whole life, that my grandfather was the big risk taker. My grandmother was the one who kind of kept him grounded, you know.
Counting the pennies.
Absolutely.
Hiding money from him, probably.
Absolutely.
So you didn't really know the full picture.
Yes.
Well, I have to point this out that most strong, successful men have a woman behind the scenes, hopefully, usually partnering with them to carry forward the mission and keep them aligned and round them out a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
So it sounds like there's a lot of that girl woman vibe in and around the business because it's a family business.
Absolutely. You know, my dad's wife, Mary Beth, you know, she's my stepmom. She's been around for 20 plus years, but, you know, he always thanks her first and foremost. And I mean, you know, for me, I have a great wife. You know, she's a fantastic mother. She works too. And, you know, at the end of the day, we see eye to eye on a lot of things. I mean, I have 3 boys. They're very active in sports, and we're trying to be active in the community, you know, with all these events coming up. And it's who's going to take them where, who's going to do this.
Right.
And, yeah, I mean, behind every really strong man is a probably even stronger woman.
Yeah, you heard it here first, guys. So wait, your wife doesn't work for the company?
No, my wife does not work for the company. She works for the Ballston Area Community Center.
Oh, fun.
So BACC, yeah.
Yeah.
She loves it. She gets to work with the kids down there and actively involved in the school system, of course. And we love Ballston Spa.
And
Go Scotties.
Is that where you live?
I live in Ballston Spa.
You live in Ballston Spa.
Yeah.
And you have 3 boys?
3 boys.
No girls?
Nope. 1 girl. It's my wife.
So tell me... Wow. Are you just a good salesperson, or like you're just saying all the right things?
No. So my wife, she grew up with 3 females in her family and only her father. And her father ended up passing when she was in college. And then when we had our children, you know, we were going to find out the sex. And the first one, I remember I would go to the ultrasound. And I said, that's a boy. And the lady was like, are you going to find out? We're like, yeah, it's a boy. And she was like, yes. I was like, okay, cool. I wasn't expecting that. And then, you know, we were planning on having a second child. And the second child came in. We're in the ultrasound room. And the lady's like, you going to find out? And I already saw it. I was like, it's another boy. So I was kind of worried about how this one was going to go. And the ultrasound tech was like, it's another boy. And she was like, yes. And I was like, oh, my gosh, this is crazy. Like, I didn't really think that. I thought she really wanted a girl. And a couple years went by. And then, you know, that the conversation came up again about another child. And I was like, what do you mean? I thought we were, you know, finally finished here. And, well, you come from a bigger family. I come from a bigger family. I just always thought we'd have 3 children. And I looked at her dead in the eye and I go, this is not about a girl.
Yeah.
No, it's not about a girl. I go, so you're telling me if we don't have a girl, you won't make me have a fourth child? No, I promise. I promise. I said, okay. Lo and behold, go to the ultrasound tech, and I saw it again. Like, I knew what to look for by this point.
Yeah, you're an expert.
Right. And I see it again, and I'm like, oh, boy, I'm freaking out now.
Oh, boy, literally.
Yes.
It's another boy.
And so they tell us it's going to be a boy, and she does the yes again. And I'm like, okay, is this for real? And she's like, no. We talked after, and she's like, I always envisioned myself having a family of boys. So.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. You also just get what you get, and you
Yeah.
don't pitch a fit. That's what I tell my kids all the time. It's just like, what are you going to do? Like, cry about it? You're having another boy.
Exactly.
So at your house, is it like just Nerf guns everywhere, basketballs, footballs? Like, they're rough, they're not violent, but just
Yes.
aggressive.
Yes. It's all of that. I'll be honest. I try not to screw up, and I'm not saying this 'cause we're in a podcast, but I literally try and lead by example.
Yeah.
I always want to put myself in somebody else's shoes. We make a decision at work. I like to think about it. Okay, if I was the employee and this is what's being, information that's given to me, how would I handle it? Am I upset? Am I happy? Am I sad?
Yeah.
We had our employee communications meeting last week. We have 4 of them. So we make sure we get everybody in the company to come. It's like a mandatory meeting to go to. But, we're thinking about changing up the format now. And it's like, I sat there in front of the team and I was like, you guys got to give us some feedback on this because, we try and sit here. We think you want to know that the company is growing. You probably want to know that you have good benefits. You probably want to know, you're stable and we're getting different brands. And I don't know if they really want to know that.
Yeah, well, people are people, right? They're driven by different values and different, some people just like want the money and they'll just like work themselves to death just to get a paycheck. And there's other people who like would not do shit for more money. They just want to do something that's meaningful. So it's like a balancing act.
Yeah, we were having a conversation. We just redid our offices, right? We gutted them all and we made them all nice. And
Is it because you're forcing everybody to come back to the office?
No. We actually just think, like the last time they were done was 1988.
Yeah, so it was time. It was time for an upgrade.
We had a slight refresh in like the 90s.
There was a smell coming from the kitchen. It was just like, we got to get into the wall.
So, we're going through the deck and we're like, oh, well, let's show some pictures of the new offices. And, there was some feedback in the group. It was like, well, if you're a driver, you don't care about that office. And if you're a merchandiser, you don't care what that office looks like. And we're like, yeah, I could see that. But, sometimes we talk about, hey, we're getting new equipment. We're getting new tractors. We're getting new trailers. Well, does that matter to the office people? And it was really interesting because we're kind of like, yeah, I guess it wouldn't matter to them if that's not their position. But then we went to this dinner. It's our President's Award dinner. And we have that once a year where CJ, my dad, gets to pick out people that live and embody each value. And so it was a really small setting. And we actually had it at Morton's in Saratoga. And we just asked for some feedback. And one of the guys was like, I'd like to know more about the offices. And he's in sales.
Aww.
He's just like, so it's like we would never, ever think about that. But it's nice that it reinforced that, hey, this guy just curious what the inside looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's out in the field. He doesn't get to tap into that. And, but like I just did a Kind Catherine with DeCrescente, and we had some really nice vehicles we were driving around in. I just have to say, like, it was a really, like, I might go buy one of these trucks. It was so nice.
Thank you.
They were brand new.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Or maybe they were just like newly, like recent. Maybe I'll clean them for me, but
no, they were new. You got
brand
the new
new.
ones.
It's so special.
So the tractor was on order for like 2 years, and it finally came in, and then we had the ability to buy some electric trucks. So we bought some electric trucks for our supervisors. So you got to see a little bit of the fleet, but you got all the new stuff.
Yeah, but that's why the audio was so good, because it was so quiet in that truck. It was nice and peaceful. When I think legacy businessy, I don't just think like, oh, I want to be the person that has the big business, with the big last name and everybody knows my last name. It's more about, for me personally, it's the impact. It's having like impact on the region as a whole, where you hope to raise children and attract more people like yourself to develop the community. So anybody, like, and I sort of grapple with this myself, because it's like, well, if you are an entrepreneur, are you just always an entrepreneur, or is there an opportunity to join an organization and have impact on that organization? And so, like, I would love to hear your take on this.
Sure. I think that if you're an entrepreneur right now, it doesn't mean that you have to stay an entrepreneur. I mean, there's people that, have side hustles when they work for a major corporation and they're an entrepreneur on the side. I think the biggest thing for DeCrescente is we're just looking for the people that are going to help drive the business. I can give you an example. We hired somebody a few years ago to do our social media. And that person won a President's Award within 3 months. So there's some people at our company that don't win a President's Award in like 10 years. And this person made such an impact within 3 months that it was like no questions asked that, hey, we are going to give this person the President's Award. At the end of the day, it's about how hard you're willing to work. And, family business is tough. Being the fourth generation is not easy. A lot of businesses don't make it to the fourth generation. Mm-hmm. But this one is, and we're not going anywhere. And I think, it's all about, you got to listen. When I was a lot younger, I didn't follow that rule.
Right.
And as I've gotten older and wiser, I realize that it's a good thing. I think you just got to work hard. I think there's certain stereotypes for different work groups. It's like, they don't care to work. They just want to be on their phone. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think, in today's day and age, there's a lot of things that can, distract you. But at the end of the day, I think you got to have trust in your people, mm-hmm. and you got to trust in what they're doing, and not be a micromanager, and give people the autonomy to do what they do really well.
Yeah.
And, as I've noticed at work, when you give people a little bit more responsibility, they flex a little bit. And usually it's in a good way.
Yeah. It's like ego plays such a big role. And I think I admire leaders who like flex almost like a lack of ego, right? Where it's like, you know what? I don't have to be the one that's doing all this work. I don't have to be the one that's on this pedestal, like dishing out, guidance or wisdom. I can use that leverage to spotlight someone else and give them the opportunity to step into that light and have ownership of a project or ownership of a, whatever.
Right. And I think, the person also has to be capable, for lack of a better term. There's sometimes where people want to come in and they want to be the next CEO. And I was a merchandiser. I've been in some bad basements that were dirty. I've done every job except basically drive the truck, because at that time I wasn't qualified enough, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I've done it all. And I think, at our company, we try and round people out. We don't necessarily just want to keep them in one position for a long time. We foster, internal promotions before, external promotions. But sometimes that, we just don't have the right fit internally. So we will go externally. But at the end of the day, it's just letting people run a little bit and seeing what they do. And, if they trip, hey, I always like to tell people it's okay to make a mistake. I can coach you on not making a mistake, but I've always learned myself, when I make the mistake, I learn from it. And if somebody prevents me from making it, I might not learn as much as I did.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of wraps up to what we were talking about before, losing, the failing thing is necessary roughness to advance yourself and develop yourself, and as a leader, as just an individual in general. So failing, losing are all things you're going to experience next week at the Shaken and Stirred event.
Oh, okay.
Yes!
Challenge accepted. Oh. Challenge accepted.
A toast to you not being a sore loser.
Yes, absolutely. Same for you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is for our Saratoga Springs After Hours. They have announced that 550 Waterfront is being renamed and rebranded, and a little refresh inside in the interior. There's this beautiful mural that they did. They just released and launched photos of, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful space. And they're renaming the restaurant to be Lago, which it means lake. So that I think I agree with. 550 Waterfront is on the lake. So to come up with a name that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. People are pissed about the menu. They are upset that it's pizza. And I don't understand, what do people have wrong with pizza? What do they have against pizza? Kids like pizza, adults like pizza. But I do want to point out, the owners of 550 Waterfront, the restaurant has changed hands several times. I can't even actually keep track of who actually owns it. I think it's Druthers. Someone clarified me. It's Druthers who is the owner and proprietors behind 550 Waterfront. And my point is that I actually like the change of name, because I don't think it's creative to name a restaurant after just the number like 550 waterfront, 60 lake. Like, come on, guys, we can do better than that. And I approve of Lago. I like it. But the name Lago gives me vibes that it's going to be like island time, margaritas, chips and salsa, guacamole, like just this like island time, island vibe. And that is not reflected in the menu. I will give the critics that it doesn't really reflect this like island vibey lake life scene. That's what I would like there. And that's not to say that you can't go to Lago and sit out by the water and order yourself a margarita and pretend like you are somewhere on an island or you are lakeside. So that makes sense. So I think people are really fired up about this. This is the other thing that I have to push back on the critics is like, have you ever owned a restaurant? Have you ever managed a restaurant? Have you ever worked in a restaurant? Like, it's a lot harder than it seems. And I would imagine most of the people who are commenting and being critical of the name change and the rebrand and the new awesome artwork, I would have to say, like, you probably don't know what you're talking about. To that I say, go and try it out. I heard some people went there for Mother's Day brunch, and it was amazing and delicious. And, you know, I love a brunch. So a brunch on the lake, yes, that's that. Critics, shut up. So this week in the Hoverland, I took the girls for Mother's Day. I decided to get out of Dodge because it just has not historically worked out for me to be home on Mother's Day. I don't ever feel like I'm, left alone, which I think a lot of moms in my season of motherhood really want on Mother's Day is like they just want to be left alone. They want to not be touched. They don't want to be called. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want any of that stuff. They just want like a complete, deprivation of mothering. I knew that wasn't a reality for me if I stayed home. It wasn't even a reality if we went away, but at least if we went away, it would be like some sort of like relief and respite. And so that's what we did. We went to the Cape with one of my best friends, Aunt Jackie, who she was a guest on our podcast, if you've been listening. And we went to the Cape. She has a place there. And we went to the aquarium. We got this amazing backstage tour of the New England Aquarium, which was incredible. I met an octopus named Sidna, and I'm never going to eat octopus again. My life has been changed. And it was just the most amazing experience. And it was nice to get out of Dodge. And so I suggest to all the mothers that, because I've been seeing a lot of stuff on social media like, oh, all I want for Mother's Day is to be left alone. Or maybe you had one full day. Maybe you have a situation where you were able to take a full day of just like rest and relaxation and not have anyone ask you for anything. And if that's the case, great. But I think the re-entry into reality, like on a Monday morning, the Monday morning after Mother's Day, it's just so overwhelming. So I don't want to experience that either. So I'm really happy with my decision. I think I've created a new tradition for myself to give myself a getaway with my girls for Mother's Day. Stay tuned. Let's see what happens next year. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And if you want to connect with me, slide into my DMs on Instagram. My handle is Catherine Hover.